Games feel like magic sometimes. They tangle us in their web and never let go. Whether they are more story heavy, like The Last of Us, or whether they test our dexterity, like Super Mario World. Why do some games immediately grab us from the get-go, while others fail to do so? In this video, I'll go over 3 reasons. Before we dive into this, it's important to understand why games can feel like magic sometimes. Just like movies, books, or manga and comic books, games have their own way of telling the story. In a game, we're not watching, we're not reading, we are in control, we are making it happen. In a horror film, when someone goes into an abandoned hotel, you know immediately that, well, that might not be the smartest thing for her to do. But in a video game, it's you who has to do it, and you might even like it at that. That brings us to the first reason. A lot of games that tend to tangle us in immediately give an excellent taste of what's to come. Persona 5 is one of the most beloved JRPGs of all time. The game combines dungeon crawling with social elements. It tells a story of Joker and his gang of phantom thieves who try to save the hearts of corrupt people. Phantom Thief. Sounds cool, right? The makers thought so too. So immediately in the beginning, you are in the middle of performing a heist in a casino. While you jump over big chandeliers, your teammates guide the way. They all reek of confidence. They've done this before and probably will succeed this time as well. Nothing seems to go wrong, but if you've played the opening, you know that it does anyway. You, Joker, are arrested, and apparently it was one of your own teammates who sold you out. What follows is a tale that will lead to this event, with the message that there's a chance you can break free from this jail if you build bonds with the people around you. If you're like me, you immediately want to know what's next. But why is that? In the first place, this opening gives an excellent idea what the game is all about. Yes, Persona 5 is about performing heists, stealing hearts, with a bunch of people working together. But not only that, at one point this all will go wrong. Conflict, a moment to look forward to, but also a promise that you, the player, might still overcome this by creating bonds with the people around you. It's your actions that could make a difference. You were giving a taste, a promise of what the game eventually will be. This is why so many stories have prologues. It's to say, yes, we might start a bit slower, but we get to the good stuff. Would the game have hit the same if it started with Joker arriving in Café LeBlanc? Hard to say, but probably not. This can also work against you, however. Final Fantasy XIII is famous for being flawed, which is quite a surprise since Square Enix definitely put a lot of thought in giving you that taste of what's to come. All the elements are here. A big explosive action scene, a rebellion against the bad people, and 2 distinct characters who somehow have to work together. Just like in Persona 5, you immediately can play with a fluid new battle system, and there's even a cute chocobo in the mix. But then the game throws all kinds of unfamiliar words at you. Elsie, Falsy, Purge, Cocoon, to name a few. Names we all hear for the first time. Your mind gets thrown off, taken elsewhere. You start to ponder, am I missing something? What is all this? And if confusion is the main feeling of what's to come, that doesn't bode well for the rest of the game. And first impressions are important. When we see strangers on the train, we immediately place them somewhere in our head within the groups of people we've known over the years. If we see a game based on the trailer or even the cover, we can almost immediately judge if this is something we might like. So most of the time, when we pick up a game, we already have kind of an idea in our head what the game is all about. But if a creator manages to play with those expectations, things can turn truly special. Another reason why the start of Persona 5 works so well is because it ties in greatly with the expectations that players have of the franchise. It takes something, the confidence system, and seemingly makes that a big part of the story. But developers can also deliberately toy with expectations like these. Take the horror game Resident Evil Requiem, which came out in the beginning of this year. On the one hand, you have the sections with Leon, where you feel like an action hero. On the other hand, you have the sections with Grace. And Grace, probably like the player, isn't so keen on exploring all those scary locations. Capcom plays into this by letting the player get off the safe and busy street into a dark, lonely alleyway filled with polystape and junk, and finally into a long closed off mansion. She breathes heavily, clenches her arms together and tells herself to calm down, but while the tension rises and rises, the scare actually doesn't happen. Not when you go into the hotel, not in that dirty toilet, not until quite a bit later, in a moment you least expect it. Playing with expectations can also go wrong. In an earlier video, I talked about the opening of Kingdom Hearts 2 and how the makers deliberately let you play with an unfamiliar protagonist in the name of Roxas instead of Goofy, Donald and Sora. Not everybody liked this, and the developers had to try really hard to make that work. Another example of this is Pokémon Legends XIII. In contrast with the previous game, this one only played in a single city. Despite Game Freak being very transparent about this beforehand, players still were disappointed. Why was that? Well, one reason was that players still wanted to experience that same samey open world feel from the first game, Legends Arceus, and who can blame them? We're so accustomed to the fact that a sequel builds on the success of its predecessor that even when they outright say it doesn't do that, we still expect it. To give another example, it's almost a given that the main character, the one you play as, won't die. This is because, well, they might be the reason why you picked up the game in the first place. And also, it's a bit of a safe haven for the player. How many times Grace dies, how scary it is, you can always try again. And a big reason why Final Fantasy VII became so well known is because they dared to play with that rule. Xenoblade Chronicles is another example of this. And The Last of Us as well, where you start as Joel's daughter. These few examples also tie in smoothly to the following rule. Games also can be really good in creating an emotional connection between you, the player, and the goal you have to complete. Octopath Traveler is a role-playing game famous for letting you experience the stories of 8 different characters. Octopath Traveler 0 takes a different path though. For the first time in the franchise, you can choose your own name, as well as the skill you start with, your class, and even your favorite dish. It has some influences from Western RPGs like The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, but here it serves a different purpose. It's to tell the players that instead of focusing on all those different characters, now it's your story. Yes, it is personal now. This is something where games can truly differentiate from other media. A maybe forgotten aspect of the Nintendo 3DS was its use of AR cards. With these, you could make something appear as if they were in your own living room. Not a lot of games use this, but Bravely Default, another RPG of Square Enix, did. You had to lay a card on your table, and when you did, a fairy popped out into your living room to plead for help. You, the player, are the only one who can save the world. On the Nintendo Switch 2 version, this cannot be done. Maybe a reason why it didn't hit quite as hard. Games can be really good about making things matter, giving us the feeling that we are the only one who can do this, that it's our adventure. It's the same reason why Pokémon became so popular. You didn't play as someone else, you were the Pokémon trainer. You picked the starter. You've got, trained and created all those memories with Pokémon yourselves. There's a reason why Game Freak made things like Pokémon Home, so we could all forever bring those memories with us. This is also why games like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing work so well. They truly let you make your own story. And in Octopath Traveler 0, we get to know the people of the village we grew up in, how they live and what their future plans are. Everyone is excited for the Enkindling Festival tomorrow. Your mother makes your favorite dish. You defeat monsters in the cave with your childhood friend and speak of grand dreams of adventure. But then disaster strikes and the village you grew up in is no more. But you feel like you have to do something about it. And luckily you can. Not only is Octopath Traveler 0 an RPG, but it also lets you rebuild Windville in any shape you want. You, the player, can truly make a difference. There you have it. 3 reasons why some games immediately hook us in. These reasons also can be intertwined, and there are probably a lot of other ones too. And while we're on the subject, what is your favorite opening? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.